Thursday, June 8th, and this is Geeknights. Tonight we talk rather generically about concerts and live music.
Let's do this.
You know, it's funny how as soon as we say we've just about picked a logo, the deadline's this weekend, we're pretty much done with this, suddenly the submissions come flooding in.
Maybe we should have just set a deadline in the beginning.
Yeah.
And that would have forced people to send them in. It seemed like without a deadline, people are like, oh, I'll just wait forever. And now it's, okay, you have until Sunday night, right? Is that what we said?
That's what we said.
Sunday at midnight, meaning, what, June...
Whatever, I don't know what day it is.
June
but at
11th.
Least, probably you want to get it in before then. Because
yes.
if you submit it at that time, we're probably going to decide like Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah, June 11th, midnight, Eastern Standard Time. That's GMT -4.
Well, aren't we EDT right now?
Yes, that's why it's GMT -4 instead of 5.
Yes, you should have said Eastern Daylight Savings Time as opposed to Eastern Standard Time.
That's right.
EST, EDT.
That's right. You're right.
That thing that most people who try to use NTP don't do properly.
That's correct. That's why I always just, when I set a time zone on a computer, I just set New York. That way the computer knows.
Yep. No, it used to not be that way.
It used to not be that way. You used to have to manually switch between EST and EDT.
Or there were a lot of programs that would do it. It was kind of amazing that Windows did it on its own, even though it didn't really do it so well all the time.
I just say my time zone is America's/New York, and I'm all good.
Though I'll save it for another day, but I have a rant about how we should always be in EDT, and we should just drop EST entirely, but...
Or just keep EST.
No, we should go to Daylight Savings Time mode and stay there forever.
Why not stay in non-daylight savings time mode?
Because staying in Daylight Savings Time means that we generally get more daylight hours all year round. In fact, the U.S. did do that in the past. They switched to EDT, and they stayed that way. And the only reason we undid that was, and I kid you not, because parents were lobbying that it was endangering their children because the children had to wake up while it was still dark out and go to school, and they were being hit by cars.
Were they being hit by cars? Is the rate of car hitting changed?
You know what? I really don't know. I'm pretty sure the argument was just bullshit.
I tend to agree.
Yeah.
But there could have been really a
You know what? That's fine. That's Darwin. I learned at a young age, don't step in front of large moving objects.
I also learned that. I did not wait for the school bus in the middle of the road.
Though, speaking of large moving objects, I read a news article today about a coming crisis in the United States.
Is this fear-mongering?
No, this is something that's actually going to happen.
Okay.
And now, stay with me on this. Currently, our roads in the U.S., especially in urban centers, are pretty taxed as it is. And there are many places where there just aren't enough roads and it's hard to get around, but at the same time, there is no alternate means of transportation. Driving is really the only way to get around the United States, with rare exceptions in large urban centers. Now, driving, especially in the U.S., is somewhat difficult in that traffic is moving very fast, even though illegally most of the time. There are a lot of windy roads, a lot of rules. There are a lot of car collisions in this country. And the most dangerous, both to themselves and others, demographic per capita on the road is people over the age of 65.
I agree.
Old people, no offense to anyone, but old people really, it's proven, they don't drive as well. They are, in general, now there are a lot of specific counterexamples, but in aggregate,
you can find, if I wanted to, I could find a person of any age who couldn't drive at all, and I could find a 90-year-old guy who was the best driver you ever seen. But I'm sure Michael Schumacher, when he's 90, can still outdrive all of us. But the point is that on average, old people can't drive for shit. And if you don't believe me, go to Florida.
Now, at the same time, they're actually almost neck and neck with the second most dangerous group, teenagers.
Yep.
Now, the teenagers just don't know what they're doing, and the old people know what they're doing. They just physically can't do it anymore. But the fact remains that both groups are dangerous. Now,
or at least more dangerous than everyone else.
Yes, far above average statistically. Now, because young people can't vote, I mean, you can't vote until you turn 18, but you can drive, depending on where you live, as soon as you're 14. Now, because of this, teenagers have increasingly bad restrictions on their licenses, and it's been getting worse and worse as time has gone on. when I was in Michigan, I was a kid. When I was 14, like end of 14, I got a car. I turned 50, and then 15-ish driver's license, learner's permit thing. The day I turned 16, I got my driver's license. Now you don't really get your driver's license until you're 18, and there are people trying to push it to 21. But the fact
you can't push it to 21 because the 18, 19, and 20-year-olds will come out to vote.
Yeah, but you can push it to 18 because no one younger than that can vote against it.
That's correct.
Now, in addition to being the most dangerous group of people on the road, the elderly are the most prolific voters in the country.
That is also correct.
So it is very difficult to restrict their ability to drive, both from a practical standpoint and from a political standpoint. Any politician who advocates anything like testing people and to prove that they can still drive every 10 years
gets voted right out because all the old people don't like it.
Yep. Now, normally this works out because there aren't so many elderly people on the roads. But there's something coming that people aren't really thinking about so much yet. The baby boomers are getting old.
And they're going to retire and become old people in Florida.
In the next 20 years, there's going to be a sudden, dramatic influx in the number of elderly drivers, partly because there's going to be a whole bunch of people getting old all at once because there was a boom in the population.
Yeah, if you think driving is getting worse and there are more and more old people driving around slowly, there are.
Now, two... And this isn't really empirical, but it seems very interesting nonetheless. Baby boomers as a generation tend to very much value their independence, tend to have very long drives to commute, tend to live far away from urban centers and have to travel a lot by road. As a result, they are probably not going to give up driving no matter how bad they are at it.
And the generation prior to them is living longer and longer and is also going to continue driving as they get older and older.
Now, it's not an easy issue to solve. I mean, you can't just take away, like, oh, after you're 70, Logan's Run, you can't drive anymore. And you really can't even if you restrict it based on skill or ability, you're now stranding countless people who really, in the way America's set up, they have no way to get around now. They are trapped in their homes.
Yeah, if my grandma couldn't drive, and I mean, she can kind of drive. She's not the best driver in the universe, but she drives better than a lot of other old people. Actually, my other grandma drives better than, I'd say, 90% of old people. But I know plenty of old people who can't drive at all. Like, they drive worse than 13-year-olds drive in the initial D arcade game.
What do we do? I mean, I'm very much an advocate of every 10 years you should be tested to prove you can still drive.
I'm the advocate of every 10 years you should be tested, and then once you get old, you should start getting tested every year or every 2 years. More frequently as you cross the line into where you are losing physical abilities such as vision and hearing.
However, that could be considered age discrimination among many circles.
But here's the thing. Discrimination and prejudice and any ism, racism, sexism, whatever, is bad because what you are doing is you are judging people based on a criteria that doesn't mean anything. A black person is no more or less capable than a white person in most circumstances. I'd say 99.999% of circumstances.
Because that other .001 is being black bastard.
Yes, it doesn't matter if you're black or white if you're a computer programmer. It
don't matter if you're black or white.
What the hell?
You never heard that Michael Jackson song?
No.
Black or white?
Okay, whatever. A black person isn't necessarily better at computers than a white person. A woman isn't necessarily better at, driving than a man. It all depends on your driving skill or your computer skill.
You actually avoided making a funny sexist joke. I expected...
What, women can't drive?
I don't know what you were going to say. I just kind of expected
That's what all the F1 guys say.
Yeah.
But...
you know what? Neither can Yuji Ide.
Asian women, half of them can't drive for shit, and half of them are like race car drivers. But anyway, at least every single one I've ever met.
Okay.
But the point is that oldness does have an effect on driving skill, and therefore it is perfectly okay to discriminate against old people because it does matter.
Except it isn't because it's a democracy and they can just vote and say, no, we're not doing that.
Democracy ain't perfect.
Yeah, so what do? Do we go against the principles of democracy and do something that is an anathema to the population? Or do we let the population have their way, knowing that we'll only hurt them in the end? And even then, no matter what we do, if we don't do anything, the roads get more dangerous. If we take their licenses away, we have now basically condemned them to a slow, lonely death.
Mm-hmm.
Well, obviously the answer is we need mass transit, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. Maybe the old people who can drive should drive around the old people who can't.
Maybe the old people who vote in such record numbers every year and are really the true deciders of American domestic policy should vote for mass fucking transit.
Maybe if we could force them and take their cars away, then they would vote for mass transit if they were all stranded.
But we can't force them without taking away their ability to vote. But if we take away their ability to vote, they're not going to vote for the mass transit. Why, oh, why did she swallow the fly? There's really...
All right.
Yeah, that was just a rant. I don't have an answer. Well, I have an answer, but no one other than probably you listeners is going to go along with it.
Yeah,
Mass transit. Mass fucking transit.
My answer is that
trains.
too many people assume that democracy equals freedom. You can have a free society and a free government without it being 100% or mostly democratic government. Just the same way you can have communism without a dictatorship, although, you know, there's things to say about that.
Yeah, well, communism's worked very well in very small scales.
Yes, especially when it's doesn't have a dictatorship associated with it.
I mean, our house is generally communist.
I guess. But
so with two people, you can pull it off.
That's
so
right.
you can expect any day to find Scott dead with an ice pick in his eye.
I don't have any incentive to do the housework anymore. Oh, wait, I don't do the housework. I guess communism's failings even show with two people.
See, actually, not too long ago, I think it was with Scott Johnson, we were talking, and we've determined that Scott, right here, Scott of Geeknights, is actually a living tragedy of the commons. Scott is the tragedy of the commons. We considered calling him TC for a little bit.
Whatever.
And anytime there's a common, Scott is there defouling it.
I gotta take advantage. What can I say? That's why I'm in favor of a commons in which there is no tragedy. But the point is that I'm in favor of some form of government that is somewhat democratic and somewhat technocratic or meritocratic.
I'm more and more a fan of the government in the book I'm reading right now, which I'll probably talk about when I finish the book.
Yes, even though I normally, people always compare technocracies and meritocracies to just having a giant computer run the government. But I've read too many stories where that doesn't work.
Yeah, but they're all stories. No one's ever tried it.
I know.
Plus, it's hard to pick the first set of people
but those
to see the
stories
government.
are so convincing, especially Phoenix. So convincing.
Yeah, because there's always some robot
We should write
rampage.
a story to convince the old people they can't drive.
They'd have to be able to read it.
Damn. Okay.
See, we're very pro freedom, but you can take away certain freedoms. Like, I'm okay with the government or somebody taking away everyone's freedom to murder each other.
Because that's not a freedom. That's a protecting of a right.
Yeah, well, no, there is a freedom to murder, but that also infringes on a right. And every time you can give up a freedom to get something. Every time you give up a freedom, you get something in return.
As long as what you get...
Oh, it might not be something good. You can give up your freedom to free speech and get a horrible life, but you can still do it. And I guess people need to realize that every freedom has an associated risk.
Mm-hmm.
The freedom of murder has the associated risk of people will murder each other.
Well, the thing here is that I don't think freedom enters into the driving discussion because driving is a privilege, not a right.
But travel is a right.
Travel is indeed a right. And that makes a problem.
Yeah, so what do we do when the only way left to travel in this country is something that is not a right but a privilege? That's the
thought
issue.
about that before, GM.
Oh,
bitches.
yeah. You know what? We should have thought about a lot of things, you know.
Yeah, anyone who doesn't understand the background history of this issue and why there are only roads in America, go watch Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say some documentary, and I was going to say, watch
a documentary about the same issue.
Yeah.
Because that really happened. There were streetcars everywhere.
In fact, there are remnants of streetcars in Fishkill right next to us.
Yep, and GM bought them all and got rid of them all and replaced them with shitty-ass buses so that everyone would buy cars and build roads and highways.
Yeah, they bought successful train lines and shut them down and put crappy buses in place, and they made them crappy on purpose to make people hate them enough to buy cars.
Mm-hmm. And they also made the buses. So even if people just bought buses, they were still good.
Yeah.
And that is why we don't have trains, and that is why we're having this problem.
Yeah, it's so sad.
I think we should just take helicopter lessons.
You know helicopters are real freaking hard to fly.
I know. That's why we should start taking lessons now, before the old people kill us with their cars.
Why don't we just learn how to fly planes? They're 1,000 times easier.
Not as versatile.
They're quite versatile.
But you can't land on top of a building with them.
Yeah, but
You can't land on
there's no one we know who would let us land on their building.
Oh, yeah, there is.
Who?
We could land on the BCC and go to Otakon.
I don't think that. Maybe if we become big enough guests after they.
We could easily do it. I know a lot of rich people with helicopters. You just call ahead.
We're not rich.
I know, but they just call ahead. Normal people don't have helicopters. You call ahead to any helipad.
What? Wait a minute.
And unless it's a hospital helipad or an emergency helipad, you just call ahead to it, and then you get a landing, whatever, and then you go to it.
So we'll pull up in our gasoline-powered lawnmower modified into a helicopter.
Damn straight. Okay.
All right. So
let's skip the. Let's finish that rant. It's
all right.
done.
Yeah. I just wanted to rant about it.
That's fine. It's Thursday.
Yeah.
So, today our episode's about concerts, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to talk about the Otakon concert, which is not fully announced. They've only announced 2 musical guests so far.
Yep, and we talked a bit with Jim Vowles, the chair of Otakon, a while ago, and he didn't say much, but he seemed real excited about upcoming bits about the concerts at
I can
Otakon.
guarantee there will be more musical guests at Otakon, and that the announcements will get bigger and bigger as time goes on.
Yep, and I can't even imagine next Otakon.
Yeah. So, the first musical guest Otakon announced quite a while ago is Muck. M-U-C-C.
Muckluck.
I didn't know who Muck was until it was announced, and I said, apparently they're Japanese J-rockers, whatever.
Oh, Japanese J-rockers, eh?
Yep.
You gonna buy tickets with your ATM machine and your PIN number?
That's right. Apparently, they're not like some huge, amazing, crazy popular band, but they're pretty popular. They're a MySpace band, but one of the bigger ones. And I listened to some of their music, and personally, I didn't find it to be amazing, but it was pretty standard, normal. It wasn't bad. It's just normal J-rock kind of action. So I'm sure that will make all the J-rockers happy. The second musical guest is this girl, announced very recently, I think this week, Nana Kitade.
Nana.
Yeah, Nana, like from the show.
Which we'll talk about because that show's freaking awesome.
Yes. Now, she is famous for doing the closing song to the first part of the first closer to Full Metal Alchemist.
It's a good song.
It's a good song, which I like. So that's cool. But now I read this thing about her, and, well, let me just tell you some of the important facts. She's 18 years old. She was playing piano at age 3, so she's been doing music her whole life.
Wonder if I can put her in a box.
She was discovered at an audition for Sony Music in 2002. Her songs appear in TV dramas, animation, video games, etc. She had 4 top-selling singles, whatever. Let's see, wait, where's the line that's, famous for her signature gothic Lolita look, Nana has become a fashion icon for teenage girls. Her face adorns the covers of countless fashion magazines, and the streets of Harajuku overflow with Nana wannabes dressed in her elaborate style of corsets, ruffles, and lace.
Now, this whole gothic Lolita thing has actually been taking off in the U.S. at conventions, too.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know what that is, you'll find out at Otakon, or just Google for it. It's pretty distinctive.
Yeah, so it seems like this girl has some musical talent, and I might enjoy listening to her sing, but her style is search for the truth worthy.
Hey, I like the one song of hers I know.
Yeah, I haven't heard any of her other songs, but they are hit singles from Sony Music. So
Sony.
You can all be the judge of that.
So the Thing of the Day drought is finally ended. I have a Thing of the Day that I thought was cool, and I didn't have to resort to looking for something old.
Oh my god, I'm still in the Thing of the Day drought. I kind of picked something normal, but it's awesome anyway, whatever.
Now, people who know me know that I have between 1 and 1.5 eyebrows. As in, I have two.
I would say you have between 1.25 and 1.75 eyebrows.
Well, it depends on how much I groom and how much someone plucks the middle of it out.
Yes, if someone plucks them, you are down to one eyebrow. Two eyebrows.
Because I am a wuss, and I can't even pluck my own eyebrow because it hurts too much, and I almost cry.
That is true.
It is. But anyway, I have what is called a unibrow. I have one big eyebrow that goes across, even though it's thin around the nose, so it's in between. It's not a full-on, I wouldn't call it a monobrow, but it is a unibrow. Keeps the sweat out of my eyes. I find it very utilitarian and functional.
I agree.
Now, I discovered this website, monobrow.com. It is a testament to men and women who have but one eyebrow. And let me tell you, they put my unibrow to shame.
They do indeed. Some of them do.
There's this one guy on the front page. It is just a solid, thick one all the way across in a perfect arch with absolutely no differentiation at all.
And this thing is like 3/4 of an inch tall.
It's one hell of a freaking...
It's just a big, long rectangle. Holy crap.
Now, the best thing is you can submit monobrows, and they have the monobrow of the week.
We should send yours in.
I'm going to send myself in.
You should grow it out and send it in. Maybe we should get some of that spray that turns into hair, and then...
I don't want any more hair. I spend enough time shaving hair.
But that's the way to become the monobrow of the week.
I don't know. Maybe it'll be like, oh, there's a subtle monobrow, or, ooh, it's pointy.
It could be. I
don't know. I got to get someone to help me pluck it again.
Yeah, I have two separate eyebrows, but they are large and powerful.
Yes, mine have combined their powers to keep sweat out of my eyes.
It's pretty much exactly like Bert and Ernie.
Yeah. Wait, that means you're the slovenly one.
Ernie's the one everyone likes. No one likes Bert. He's all annoying.
Bert's awesome.
No.
Bert's the man.
No. Bert hangs with Osama bin Laden. Ernie hangs with the rubber ducky in the bathtub.
Bert joined the KKK too.
Yes.
In fact, I have a funny Bert story, and then you can do your thing of the day. Now, way back when I was in high school, I think it was 10th or 11th grade. I think it was 11th grade, but it was early 11th grade or late 10th grade. I don't remember. Well, I feel old that I barely remember my high school years. Anyway, I made, with a bunch of friends, this long photo montage thing for a class of history. And part of the history we had to do was slavery, Reconstruction, Gilded Age. And we decided, we had all these pictures of, lynchings and various things set to music and historical stuff thrown about. And snuck in there's one picture of a bunch of KKK guys standing around, a real picture. But superimposed on the picture was Bert.
Lol.
And no one noticed. Teacher didn't notice it at all. We got our A. He noticed it, not the day we presented it, but a month later when we were asked to present it again to the school board because they were impressed with it.
Oh, yeah.
And then during the presentation, Mr. Lurch turns to us and he gives us this look right after Bert is off of the screen. And he looks at us and he mouths the word, I think he mouths something like, I'll see you later, or me, he's something like that. And afterwards he comes out and we leave the room and he's like, so why did you sneak Bert in there? I'm going to have to punish you for that. And we were like, watch your original. Bert's been in there from the beginning. You gave us an A on that, Bert. You can't take it away now.
It was an A on that, Bert. Did you actually say you gave us an A on that, Bert?
Yes. I didn't actually say it, but a friend of mine actually said the words, you gave us an A on that, Bert.
Awesome. That's classic.
Fear the power of the monobrow.
All right. So, in keeping with the talking about concerts today, I have linked to an awesome video from ancient black and white times of Led Zeppelin performing Communication Breakdown live. Now, while this particular video is incredibly wicked awesome, and Led Zeppelin is like the greatest rock band ever to walk the earth, and this is like one of their greatest songs, and it's a particularly good performance, the video is not high quality video-wise.
What do you want? It's from ancient times.
Yeah, I know.
There's probably a dinosaur stepping on the cables behind it.
Well, no, but there were a bunch of your parents. Or perhaps you, all you old listeners, I'll make you feel old.
Yeah, you know what? A lot of our old listeners are also foreign.
Oh.
They weren't here.
No, but Led Zeppelin is British, I guess, kind of. So anyway.
Yeah. We don't have so many British listeners, though.
We have a few.
We have a few.
All right. My point is not just this video, but my thing of the day is that YouTube is a haven for many, many, many concert videos and concert bootleg videos that you could not see on DVD, VHS, television, movie theater, anywhere.
Search for the word live or possibly live
bootleg
concert. Bootleg.
Or search for the band you're looking for. There is a particularly good video that I enjoy, which has James Brown and Wilson Pickett together. The particular advantage of this is even if, stuff isn't, I don't know.
Maya.
The point is a lot of these videos have dead people in them. And they died before I was born, and I didn't have an opportunity to see their concerts.
That was the least eloquent way you could have put that.
I know, I did. I changed my mind on how I wanted to word it. Wilson Pickett recently died, and John Bonham died around the time I was born.
In fact, Freaks and Geeks made a reference to that.
Yes, and, the Beatles are dead, most of them, half of them.
Ringo's still kicking.
Yep, and so is...
Paul McCartney?
Yes, but, the point is a lot of people are dead, and you can't see them anymore.
Wait a minute. Newsflash, a lot of people are dead.
A lot of musicians are dead, famous ones, but you can still see them on YouTube.
Good thing Meatloaf hasn't died yet.
You can see him on YouTube also, I bet it.
You know what? I haven't even looked.
Yeah, I bet we could find some good ones.
I don't know. His videos are kind of long.
Well, you don't want to watch the music videos. You want to watch the concert, the guy with the camera at the concert.
True. But I wouldn't mind watching the music videos. I haven't seen those in a long time.
Some of them were just kind of long and boring, but some of them were also awesome.
Yeah.
I think the first one ever was the best one. The one that showed on the midnight whatever.
Ah, yeah.
I forget what that was called.
You know what? I'll do a show on Meatloaf sometime. I could do a whole Thursday on Meatloaf.
It's all you.
Half of it will be dedicated to the man, and half of it will be dedicated to the meal.
I'll do a whole show about Led Zeppelin. Half of it will be dedicated to the band, half to the blimp.
Okay. Anyway, we decided while I was at work today that we were going to talk about live music.
Mm-hmm.
Partly because it's a real easy topic for us to talk about until we run out of time, and then that's a wrap for the week.
And also, it's concert season. Well, it's always concert season, but...
Even though I'm saying it now on the air so I can't forget, we got to buy tickets to Camelot, and we have to buy tickets to the Pillows.
Oh, shit, right, the Pillows.
Yeah. Tell you what, you get the Pillows, I'll get Camelot.
All right.
And all of our listeners out there, remind us.
Yes. And if you want to know about these concerts, Camelot and who's the other band? Camelot's the only one I cared about, I think.
Yeah.
Is performing in Poughkeepsie, New York, which is very close to us. In when do they? That's a long time from now, isn't it?
It's in September.
September. The Pillows are performing in New York City at the Knitting Factory later this month. If you don't know, the Pillows do all the music in FLCL. Among
many other
awesome songs.
They're really badass.
They are really badass. I like. They were one of my top picks for band to appear at Otakon. So the fact that I can just go see them in New York is like woohoo. Now if Otakon gets, say, I don't know, Asian Kung Fu Generation or maybe a Yumi, then it's all good. I
don't know if they could get a Yumi.
I don't think they could, but they said they might get other venues.
Yep.
If they get the football stadium, because no one's using that in the summer.
I don't know. Has a Yumi ever played in the U.S.?
I don't know. Someone find that out for us quick.
Yeah, because anyway.
But anyway, let's start talking about different types of live music. Let's start with the easy one, the DJ party.
All right.
Or the rave. They're similar.
All right. We'll skip on, weddings and all that crap.
Yeah, screw that. We're talking about a nightclub or...
An anime con.
Or an actual rave or what? Any of those things. Yes. Okay.
Yeah. I don't really like that kind of dance or that kind of live music because it's not really live music. I mean... A lot of people talk about the skill of the DJ spinning, but honestly, if I'm on the dance floor and I'm dancing to music and the music changes to different kinds of music over the night, I really couldn't care less if it was a person up there or Winamp.
Yeah, I like electronic music, but I don't really care about the performance of the electronic music. If a DJ does it once, records it, and plays it again, it's the same thing. No one's playing instruments. So
I mean, granted, they always, the DJ will,
improvise.
They'll craft the music to bring the crowd to some sort of understanding and take them on a musical journey. But
crowd management and all that sort of stuff.
But you can do that. I mean, I don't see it as it's cool, but I don't really particularly like it as a performance art.
But I do like the music, and I do like dancing. Now, when you go to these things, here's what you got to know. Number 1, don't wear too many clothes. You will get sweaty from dancing.
Yeah, number 2, wear fucking deodorant.
2, if you don't like dancing, don't go. Or 3, if you don't like dancing, don't go.
4, don't try to form a circle of people around someone who looks like they're dancing cool.
No.
I will personally appear. I will rise up like a demon in the night at whatever rave you're at and beat you down if you try that.
Mm-hmm. Do not. This could be how not to suck at concert. How to not suck at concerts.
I think that's what this is turning into.
All right. You want to. Don't worry about how well you dance, but know that if you dance well, you should make adequate space for your awesome dancing. And if you dance poorly, just don't stand in the middle of the dance floor trying to make a show of your poor ass dancing.
Yep.
No one will make fun of you for dancing poorly off to the side with, whoever. Trying to hit on chicks, or men, depending. But if you try to be like, oh, woo, and you suck.
Well, a lot of these things will have a stage area, which oftentimes people can dance up there too. Now, if that's the case and you're in any way uncomfortable about your dancing abilities, do not get on that stage.
If you've never taken a dancing class, you probably shouldn't go up there. And if you're one of those guys, you know who you are, who can do you can do a backflip or any of that sort of stuff, but you can't actually dance, don't do that shit. It's annoying, and everyone goes and rolls their eyes, except for little kids, which is why that stuff flies at anime cons, but it won't fly at a real rave or a real party.
Yeah. We're not going to talk about the rave scene or anything because I don't really care about it.
Basically, you just go, you dance, you have a good time. When you get tired, stop, take a drink, rest, dance some more, hang out with people, go home. That's what that's like.
Now, my favorite kind of live music is the small venue concert.
Rock and roll concert.
Any kind of music.
Well, depending on the kind of music, it could be different. If it was a small venue, say folk music, you would sit at your table and you would tap your fingers on the table, applause appropriately.
True. Well, I'm just talking in general because I've been to jazz concerts, I've been to J-rock concerts.
If it's a rock concert, it is significantly different because there will be some mosh action potentially, depending on the rock and its heaviness.
Now, before we continue,
and whether any metal is included,
we're going to talk about these kind of concerts, but I'd like to say right now, always bring earplugs. You might not need them, but if you do and you don't have them, it sucks.
Yeah, if you're going to a rock concert, any amount of rock, even, may I say, light rock or soft rock, earplugs are a good idea. Now, if you go to any kind of concert, even ones you need earplugs, if you just go without earplugs, it might hurt at first, but you can get used to it, but that will damage your hearing severely and permanently.
Yep, I mean, I've gone to a few actually, I went to a Despairs Ray concert with Emily, and we forgot to buy earplugs, and it was still really awesome, and my ears recovered because the concert wasn't that long, but you don't want to do that more than a couple times in your life, at most.
Seriously, going to one, say, I don't know, AC/DC concert ever without earplugs, unless you're in the way, way, way back and it's a big place, your hearing is permanently damaged. Period. The end. Earplugs are awesome. You really want to get are they make special earplugs. They cost a lot of money, but they're worth it, and that they decrease the volume of all frequencies equally. So the music sounds perfect. A lot of times you get the wrong kind of earplugs, and they might muffle certain frequencies more than others. So you'll lose perhaps some bass or some treble or some mid-range or who knows, and your music will be all eh.
I had a set of earplugs like that for back when I played the trumpet, and it probably saved me a significant amount of hearing damage.
Yep. but they're not really good for a concert.
Nah.
No.
But they were real good for playing.
Yep, they're designed for that because mostly the ones that say specific instrument earplugs are the ones you want to avoid. They actually make ones that say concert earplugs, and I'm not 100% sure, but I think drummers' earplugs are also decrease all frequencies equally.
When in doubt, any earplugs will work, and they work pretty much well enough.
Even if you will hurt the music of the concert, better to save your ears and enjoy the concert for what you can hear than, to take the alternative.
Yep. Granted, we all forgot earplugs to that Laruku concert.
That's true, but we were kind of far back, so it was okay.
Yep.
Okay.
But small venues are a lot of fun, and whenever people hear concert, they always think, the stadium concert.
No, stadium is very different. Arena and stadium are the same thing, only outside and inside. But
Yep, but people always seem to picture that when you say concert, and they always think, oh, I go to Ticketmaster, I buy my big tickets. Small venues don't work that way. A lot of small venue concerts are quite literally just walk in. You got to be 21 at most of them, because that's how they make
their money off of bars and selling you alcohol.
So if you don't drink, these things are a gold mine of music.
Because you just pay a low price because they expect you to drink. You get in, you enjoy awesome concerts, and then you bust out and you didn't pay for any alcoholic beverages. But don't buy the water from the bar. It's a ripoff.
Yeah. If you're going to buy the water, you might as well buy the alcohol. They cost the same.
I know. And you barely get any water. Hope there's a water fountain.
But the nice thing about a concert like that is usually in a small venue, you'll be sitting or standing, 10, 15 feet from the artists. They're right there. They'll usually talk to the crowd after the concert. It's usually really fun, and you usually catch 5 or 6 bands in a row.
Yeah, a small venue place will never have, pretty much no concert will ever have just one band. There's always a bunch of opening bands and, maybe even a closing band. If it's like a bar late at night after the main act goes away, there'll be some other closing act, just kind of mellow things out, send everyone home.
So what small venue concerts have you been to, Scott?
Let's see. I went to the Enter WK concert.
Oh yeah, I missed that one.
Yeah, that was like the perfect concert in terms of execution. The place had an upstairs and a downstairs. It was a stage. There are people who didn't want to get all in the mess could stay back at, about halfway through the place near where the bar was. The crowd pretty much ended right where the bar began. And starting at the bar up to the stage was a mass of people all making a nice mosh pit. But it wasn't one of those, mosh pits. Here, let's talk about mosh pits now.
All right, real quick, because this is kind of a rambling episode.
When people say mosh pit, a lot of people who haven't seen one or been in a real one get a bad idea.
Mosh pit does not mean beat the ever-living shit out of the people around you.
Well, that's not true. Mosh pit does not always mean beat the living shit
out
of the people around you.
There are levels of mosh pit.
That is correct.
And know what you're getting into, know what the crowd is, and don't get into a mosh pit that's bigger than you can handle or worse than you can handle, but 2, don't escalate a mosh pit that doesn't want to be escalated.
That's right. My mosh pitting level is a bunch of guys bumping into each other and not stopping for a good 10 minutes. What? Oh, did that sound gay? Yeah, I think it did.
The evidence is really piling up.
Well, that's what a mosh pit is. A bunch of people, you just bump into each other, you push each other around.
Yeah, but the fact that you specifically said guys as opposed to people.
Whatever. When I say guys, I mean that in a very gender-neutral way.
I'm sure. My ideal mosh pit consists entirely of me and thousands upon thousands of beautiful women.
Okay. Well, me too, but I meant realistically.
Yeah, but it's a way to experience the music with. It's almost, I don't want to say tribal or to your roots, but it puts you in a different state of mind.
And it's, even if I'm at a concert that has some nice, comfortable mosh pits, you don't do that the whole time, It's like, oh, all right, here's a good part. Let's make a little mosh pit. All right. And then a few minutes later, you're like, all right, let's just jump up and down and wave our hands in the air, make little horns. Jesus threw up the horns. No way. But then, and then a little ballad comes on, you light up your lighter, you open up your cell phone.
Yep, but the goal of mosh pits is not to hurt each other. It's to have fun.
Except for some mosh pits. If you go to a scary death metal concert, there will be people with nasty spikes, and rings with spikes on them.
But even then,
and really big biker and trucker guys.
They're trying to hurt each other, but they also expect for people to try and hurt them. It's
Yes.
a two-way street.
You can tell looking at a mosh pit if it's a bunch of teenage to college age people, maybe some 30-year-old people, and they seem to make a little clearing with a bunch of people bouncing around in the clearing. Then you're pretty safe unless you're really small or really weak. And if it's a bunch of people larger than you, just don't go near there. And no one's gonna drag you into a mosh pit that you shouldn't be dragged into. If you're too close to one and you get caught in it, then that's, you shouldn't have gone there.
Now, the first real, big mosh pit we ever experienced was when me and Scott and who else? I think it was Greg.
Yep.
And Julie.
Yep.
And what was the
Julie's
other guy's?
brother.
Yep. And we went to a Tool concert in Albany.
And this is an arena concert. It took up the Pepsi Arena.
Arena concerts are big and big.
Big. It was basically, they play hockey and stuff here. It's big.
Now, the thing about arena concerts is, the real advantage of a small venue concert is that the sound quality is usually really good and really right there.
Mm-hmm.
And in an arena concert, it's just so big, loudness almost always trumps good.
Yep.
It's more of a experience the band with 100,000 people or 10,000 people as opposed to sit and listen to the music.
It's not really a better or worse experience. It's a different experience.
Yeah.
Now, one thing you have to know about arena concerts is that you can get general admission. Usually, if it's a rock type of thing, you can get general admission or seating. If you don't want to be in any scary mosh pits or anything, just get a seat, sit down, listen to the music, and no one will think worse of you. In fact, no one will think anything of you because they won't see you.
Yep.
You'll just be sitting there in the dark listening to your band that you like.
And if you want, you can stand up in front of your seat, dance around a bit.
Yep.
If you're adventurous, you can jump into general admission.
When you get seats, a lot of people get seats, scope out the security, and as soon as the concert starts for real, they jump right into the GA, and most of the people don't get caught, and no one cares. They expect that. If they don't expect that, there will be enough security to prevent you from doing so, and you won't do it.
Yep. But this was our first, this was a big concert, and we were general admission. We were right down there in the pit with all the Tool fans.
Yeah, you're basically on the floor. They cover a hockey rink sized area with basically interlocking rubber mats. I think it was some sort of rubber. That way they could just wipe it clean from all the human slime on it. And then everyone, does all kinds of headbanging and smashing and moshing.
Now, a concert like that, you'll run in a lot of interesting elements. There were some gentlemen, I use the term very liberally to the front of us, smoking marijuana.
Yep, that's going to happen at a big concert.
That's not the story. The story is they kept puffing on it and puffing on it. Apparently, they only had one little joint. And they got down to this tiny little bit.
It was smaller than a dime. I don't mean a dime bag. I mean a 10-cent thing with Eisenhower on it. It was like the size of the head of an eraser on a pencil.
It was this little nub, and one guy passes it to another guy, and he drops it, and it falls on the ground.
They had it on imagine there a pink eraser from the end of a pencil on the end of a paperclip, and they were passing the paperclip around.
So then it falls on the ground.
And they go around looking for it.
They just crawled around looking for this thing amidst the horrible slime that is humankind.
Yep.
Oh my God.
I don't know what they thought they were going to do. Eat the last little bit of it?
Yeah.
It was on fire. I don't know what it was like eating ash.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that was while Fantomas was on.
Fantomas.
That was the worst band I've ever heard.
All right.
Anyway.
Now, here's one piece of Scott advice for any rock concert whatsoever.
Is this your freaking carabiner?
Well, it's related.
Okay.
Only bring in things which you hope to leave, which you don't care if you don't leave with them. So if you take something to the concert, and you would be disappointed if it remained at the concert for all eternity and you couldn't take it out with you, don't bring it. You should take, this is what I recommend you take to a rock concert.
A minimal wallet.
Ready? Sneakers that you don't care if they are completely stepped on and torn to shreds. Socks, because if you don't have socks, you're going to have some mad smelly fungus action. Jeans, I don't care what the weather is, you need to protect those legs.
Yeah.
Right? A white t-shirt or other plain t-shirt that you do not care if this is the last time you ever wear this t-shirt in your entire life. You should pretend that taking the t-shirt into the concert, it is going to be set on fire, and then you are going to leave. One form of identification with a photo, perhaps your driver's license. Enough money to get a cab home.
No.
The ticket to the concert.
No, what do
the
you...
key to your car.
Oh, yeah, what do you not bring?
You do not bring a coat because you will want to take it off and you can't because there's nowhere to put it. And wearing it sucks and it'll just get ruined and it'll smell like smoke. It's bad. Don't bring a coat. Don't bring anything you don't want to be damaged. Don't bring anything made of metal. Don't bring anything that's expensive.
Don't bring your iPod to a concert.
Don't bring your iPod. Don't bring a recorder or camera or anything like that unless you're a professional concert bootlegger and you can get away with it. Don't bring drugs unless you're a professional druggie and you can hide it and get away with it.
My anti-drug is Robitussin.
Yes. Don't bring Robitussin. Do attempt to sneak in things like water, even though you probably won't be able to.
Do not bring a carabiner.
No, don't bring anything made of metal that someone might think could potentially be a weapon, because the bigger the concert, the more likely they are to just, they don't care. Anything that they'll put the line real low. You know, if you have a metal earring that they don't like, they'll make you take it off and they'll probably just throw it away or turn you away. Yeah, that's your choice. So don't bring anything questionable at all. Yeah. Plus, not having that shit makes it a lot easier to enjoy the concert without constantly fiddling with shit. You know, you see people in there with headphones and they're moshing and they're like, oh no, my headphones, mosh. Oh no, my headphones.
Yeah.
It's much better. You know, you're wearing jeans and a t-shirt, you got everything stuck in your pocket where, you know, it's good, it's secure. You're good to go. You don't have to worry about shit. You can just have fun at the concert, not constantly fiddling with crap. It's much better. Trust me. I mean, I know at the Andrew WK concert, I think one of the people who went with me wore a leather coat and it had these straps on it. And I think one of the little buckles on the straps was lost, gone forever, goodbye. You know, you don't bring that shit. If you are more of the cultured geek, you might go on perchance to see an orchestra perform.
On perchance, eh?
On perchance. Perchance you might see an orchestra. Or visit one.
Yep. I've seen many.
I've seen 3 or 4.
One, you don't need earplugs.
You do not need earplugs to go see an orchestra. In fact, wearing earplugs would probably make it terrible.
Now, I'm not really going to... I mean, you know what orchestras sound like. Go see the kind of music you like. And all I really want to say is that if you're going to see a symphony orchestra and you are not dressed nicely... Once again, I will rise up from my horrible demon lair and destroy you.
It is the exact opposite of going to see the rock concert, where you must wear jeans and a t-shirt. Or the t-shirt of the band. I guess I forgot that one.
I feel old, but it bothers me when I go to a nice concert and I see just schlubby kids in jeans and t-shirts, like just shuffling in and sitting down, picking their nose.
Yep, I don't mind if you wear just nice pants and a collared shirt. You're good to go.
Yep.
Even a short sleeve collared shirt is fine.
I'll often wear a sport jacket or something.
You know, it depends on how fancy the concert is and where it is. If you're going to Carnegie Hall, sitting in the front row, probably want to wear a suit.
Yeah.
If you're going to, you know, local state symphony orchestra in the convention center, sitting in the mezzanine, you can wear, you know, slacks and a collared shirt, short sleeve. Whatever. Or maybe even a polo shirt. That's fine.
Now, the same really applies to, I don't know, opera, ballet.
Yes. One thing, though, that you almost always consider when going to see an orchestra perform is the timing of your applause. Nothing is worse than when you don't know and you applaud at the incorrect time.
Now, here's the complex answer is watch the conductor and you'll know exactly when to applaud. If you're not sure... My Rim's patented advice
unless
is
a bunch of other people do.
Wait until the rest of the crowd is applauding. Then applaud.
And the amazing example of this is, of course, Te Planets.
Oh, gods. I've seen the Planets, heard the Planets performed live twice on 2 different occasions in 2 different venues. And at both events, some people just started clapping.
In between planets.
Now,
you do not do that.
The rules are, I'm not going to get technical, but I could be very, horribly technical about this. You do not clap between movements of the same piece.
Mm-hmm.
You do not clap between parts of the same, never mind. You don't clap between until the conductor puts his baton down or turns around and looks at you.
That's correct.
You don't really care about the different names for the different types of parts of concerts.
No, we don't.
Yeah.
I don't even know or care.
If anyone wants to know, I'll explain it in the forums.
But that is one thing you have to be very sure of when you go to see some sort of classical music being performed, is you clap at the appropriate times, and at all other times you shut up. It's not like going to see a movie where, a little whispering at a funny part in the movie is okay, or something like that. Making noise when people are there to experience some sound is disturbing the sound greatly. So
now it varies.
Shut the track. I don't even care if people next to me in movies talk, normally, as long as they don't do it constantly. But at a music like that, they'll just hit you. Bam.
Now, it's different for different types of this kind of music. I mean, orchestral music, you clap when the conductor turns around, bows, there'll be some sort of signal. And a musical like Broadway, it is perfectly okay to clap after a virtuoso song or after a song within an act, even before the curtains
in between
fall.
acts, of course, and at the intermission.
But even
the
during an act, I mean, an actress or an actor finishes
or
singing
as soon
their
as
song.
as often, you go to Broadway play and they're like, and now the play is starting. Woo!
Yep.
Before even anything happens.
But Broadway is really the only place where people will clap or applaud during an act after someone finished something.
Yep.
Well, also, actually, jazz concerts, it is acceptable and, in fact, encouraged to clap and applaud after a soloist finishes in the middle of a song.
No, that's true. That's true.
That is very much expected. Don't feel shy about that. Of course, when in doubt, don't do it, because he might not be done soloing. It might be some sort of bebop new wave jazz. Where him
if it's the kind
there,
of music you're into and you're comfortable with, you know what to do.
Yeah.
If you're going to a new experience, go with the crowd or be an idiot. The problem is, normally I would say, who cares if people think you're being stupid? And normally I wouldn't care. The thing is, there can be dire consequences.
Though it's changed a lot over time.
It has.
In hundreds of years ago, in France, especially in France, this seems to be the hotbed of this, though Italy was pretty bad too. When people went to the opera, it was actually a social occasion, and the opera would be going on the stage, but they'd mostly ignore it and sit and talk and have all their intrigue and crap.
Yeah, when you watch movies that show old-timey people going to operas, like, movies about Mozart and shit, it wasn't like that. People didn't sit there with their little glasses, perfectly quiet and silent and noble, watching the opera.
It wasn't really until the days of Beethoven that shifted.
Yep.
I mean, the opera was a social occasion. You went, you sat down. As soon as everything started, you'd wander off and do whatever crap intrigue you were doing, or talk to people, or
You're
make a show
poisoning
of
your
yourself.
friends.
Yeah.
All the noble shit.
I mean, it wasn't like it is in The Count of Monte Cristo, but it's not that far from the truth at all.
Nope. All right. Any other varieties of concert?
Jazz concerts are not really particularly special, though I am a big fan of the jazz/lounge concert.
Well, basically you go and eat dinner, and there's music playing while you're eating dinner.
Yep, like a piano jazz, and just lounges as opposed to clubs or venues.
Mm-hmm.
You're expected to socialize whatever during a lounge concert.
Yep. And remember, you can always, depending on the lounge, you can go up to the guy playing the piano or whatnot and put some money in his little tippy jar and get him to do what you want, depending on what's going on.
Yeah.
If there's some dueling pianos going on or something like that, you obviously don't go up and say, hey, play this one. But if you're in a Casablanca type of situation, hey Sam, what's up?
And of course, if you're that guy who yells, play Free Bird,
you're awesome. But the second guy who does it isn't. Because the first guy who yells it is the guy who thought of it first, and everyone has to do it at least once at a concert.
I just remember at RIT, after a hockey game, we stopped by some concert that was going on at the Ritz, which was this bar on RIT's campus.
Mm-hmm.
We all stopped by it, and some guy was playing some music. I think it was a cover band mostly. And some drunk frat guy yells, play Freebird!
Woo!
The guy stops playing, walks over, drags him up on stage, and says, all right, I'll play it. You sing it. Didn't even know the words, didn't even know how Freebird went.
Nope.
He just heard the word Freebird and thought it'd be a cool thing to yell.
Awesome.
All right, we should probably wrap this up a bit since we ended up talking more about how to not suck at going to concerts as opposed to concerts we like.
Yeah.
What's your favorite couple of concerts ever of all the concerts you've been to?
All the ones I've been to?
Yeah, not the concerts you haven't been to but you assume were awesome. I'm talking about concerts you've been to.
Because I didn't go to too many super awesome ones.
I mean, I would really say the Laruku concert at Otakon was particularly awesome.
Yeah, that one was pretty awesome. The Andrew WK concert was worth the money. Very awesome.
Yep. Actually, on Emily's birthday a while ago, we went to the Blue Note to see, oh God, what was his name? Famous jazz pianist, and it was freaking amazing. We were sitting close enough I could have reached up and just pounded on the keyboard and run away.
You should have.
Yeah,
at the
right.
last minute.
I paid a lot of money to get into that place. Not so much, see, the places like that.
Yeah, you paid a lot of money. You deserve to be able to bang on that piano.
Yeah, but places
you
like
paid
that,
for some of the keys.
it's funny, the tickets to get into the concert weren't that much, but the meals there were real expensive. Of course, the food was really good. But yeah, that and that Laruku concert.
There was I think one last note is if you go to any sort of old people concert, like if you go to see like Bruce Springsteen or any of those new musicians that old people listen to, like the stuff your parents listen to, those kind of concerts generally are all seating and pretty much just people stand up and kind of wiggle around and, cheer and, that's about it. Yeah. That's only how pop music concerts are. If there's no standing room, if it's just seating.
Nah, pop music, you always have the ee.
That's the only difference. In concerts like that are stand around, possibly wiggle. There's no real dancing. There's no moshing. Just standing up, potentially wiggling, hand waving, clapping, in tune with the music. That usual sort of thing. It's just sort of a natural, everyone goes with the flow, not too much energy sort of deal.
Nah.
So it doesn't require that much explanation. But in case you haven't been to a concert like that, that's what you should expect. Any other types?
I don't know. I think we're winding down here.
I got one more type.
All right.
If you go to some badass funk concert with some soul and some flavor going on, then you totally gotta get with the groove and do some funky dancing. That's how that works. Just pretend you're on American Bandstand or something and let loose.
I don't think many of our listeners know what American Bandstand is.
Awesome. Because I barely know what it is.
You know what's great? I every time I start to feel old, I realize that every time I say I feel old after something, it makes the people older than me feel really old.
Yep.
Which makes me feel very young.
Hooray!
Ha
Now, I would tell you what to do at a hip-hoppin' concert, but I have never been to a serious hardcore hip-hoppin' concert.
The closest thing I got to was a nerdcore concert at Katsukan.
Yeah, I mean, I can see on TV what goes on there, but I don't know how much to trust that.
You know what? I know what to do at a nerdcore concert.
Yep.
You jump around and scream like an idiot and you hold your DS in the air.
There you go. That's what you do.
Remember when we all pulled out our DSs at that entertainment system concert?
Awesome.
And the guy or the guy on the guitar was playing real furiously. He looks up and he sees us all waving around holding our DSs, and he stares at us and gives us the look of, you guys are awesome.
Yep.
That story doesn't go anywhere.
The concert wasn't very heavily populated, so
no, but it formed a mosh pit that lasted
that
about.
Just shows you how good their music was. Is that they could get a lot of energy out of the people when there wasn't a lot of energy transfer between people going on.
That mosh pit lasted about the length of time it took for an Otakon staffer to run over and yell, "Oh my God, stop doing that!"
And I went, "Oh."
Yeah. And everyone just kind of stood there sullen for a minute.
And then we got back to going, wee! Before we even knew about the wee.
Wee! All right, that was kind of a random episode.
Yep. So don't fear going to concerts now. Use our advice.
Yeah, I know you're all various shades of geek and nerd and dork out there. Go to concerts. It's not hard. Just go to Ticketmaster or whatever and do it. If you're not 21, it's a lot harder, and that sucks. And my only advice is get older.
Yeah, even if you're not sure, even if there's no music you like coming to your area, or you don't like a wide variety of music,
a crappy live band is always better than a recorded good band.
Yeah, that's how a lot of these little indie guys stay in business. You download some indie bands MP3s and you listen to them and you go, eh. But I guarantee if you had never heard their songs before and you saw them at some random club, you would go, because music sounds 10 times better live, no matter what the hell it is. It's just something about live music.
Yep, except, of course, for some forms of electronica where, one, there is no live version, and two, if there were, it'd be identical.
Or objectively bad music.
Phantomas!
Exactly. So
we actually got into an argument with some people over Phantomas.
Apparently, so everyone knows, Phantomas was a band that when we got to that Tool concert we already mentioned, Phantomas was one of the opening acts already playing when we got there. Now, apparently Phantomas consists of some highly talented musicians. However, the music that Phantomas makes...
How dare you defile the word music with what that was?
I say my personal definition is that music is almost anything. Right now I'm making music, but it was not songs. Those were not songs. They were just noises that somehow, and notes and...
Now, when we walked in...
things.
They were between songs, because we got to the concert a little bit late, because I was trying to finish my Rasta fries.
Yep.
And... the crowd is chanting, "Get the fuck off the stage! Get the fuck off the stage!"
Or something similar, like Phantomas sucks.
Yeah, like the
there
crowd
was a couple scary fat guys with Phantomas shirts that were kind of faded and worn. But after Phantomas was done, those guys left.
Yeah.
I don't know why they didn't take their opportunity for a free Tool concert, but whatever.
The crowd was incredibly hostile to Phantomas after they played a few sets. But
and
then
we stood there and we're like, oh, give them a break. They can't be that bad. After 5 minutes, we said, get the fuck off the stage. Get the fuck off the stage.
So then we go to the shore. It was either that summer or I think it was the next summer. And we meet a bunch of Scott Johnson's friends, and they're really into this kind of music. And out of the blue, we're just talking about music, and we make an off-the-cuff like, it couldn't be as bad as Phantomas. And we figured no one ever heard of this band or anything. And they're like, what? Phantomas is awesome.
We're like, hua, hua, hua.
And that spiraled into quite the argument.
Apparently, and he didn't like Andrew WK either. And I was like, okay.
He was like, Andrew WK is senseless crap. His lyrics consist of
okay,
party,
so
party,
he
party, party,
used
party,
the
party,
same
party,
argument that I used to defeat Phantomas. And it was like vice versa. He was saying Phantomas is great musical talent, and I was saying, but their songs suck. Then he was saying Andrew WK's lyrics suck. All he says is party, party, party. I'm like, yeah, but his songs are enjoyable, and he has great musical talent also. According to you, it doesn't matter if the songs suck because Phantomas' songs suck. Download a Phantomas MP3, everybody. But they have, I'm like, Andrew WK has great musical talent. Therefore, if you like Phantomas, because they have great musical talent, you must like Andrew WK. No, he didn't like that every word was party, party, party.
Yeah.
Of course, if you know Andrew WK's music, every other word is party. But that's cool. Party, party.
All right. So I think we've rambled enough. We killed a nice Thursday. We got some meta bits. Just keep in mind that this is the end of the logo contest. If you want to make a logo, send it to us. We will be deciding most likely this weekend.
Yep. On this Saturday, meaning 2 days from now, we are going to the Mocha, yes?
Yeah, we might go Sunday. Depends on weather and everything.
It does depend on weather, but this weekend... most likely on Saturday. I'd say 70-30 chance abouts.
Yeah, because the weather's looking up better and better.
Yep.
We'll be in New York City at the Mocha.
They'll be in New York City. I think it's the York. I'm not sure. Maybe we should just put the link in the show notes.
Yeah, I'll put it in the comments or in the forum or something.
Yeah. The Museum of Comic and Cartoon Art is having an exhibition. Basically, it's going to be a bunch of indie comic people in an artist alley type of situation with some panels and I think some awards, but we'll mostly just be doing the artist alley type stuff.
At just be us and our good friend Yuko.
As well as many other people. I know...
No, it'll just be us three. No one else is going to this.
I know there's going to be at least 2 or 3 cool comics I know of and at least 3 other awesome podcasts. That relate to comics specifically, but...
Yep, I'll have my terrible little Sony Recordy bit. I may interview some people.
Yep, so you can check us out there. The weekend after this weekend, we're
Anime
going
Next.
to Anime Next at the Meadowlands in New Jersey. We'll probably only go one day, probably Saturday. And everything else we'll tell you about later.
Yeah, like Kineticon is up in the air. I'm going to see if I can get us a panel or something. And
Yep. But yeah, so anime next and Mocha in opposite order.
And that was Geeknights with Rim and Scott. Special thanks to DJ Pretzel for our opening theme.
Be sure to visit our website at www.frontrowcrew.com. If you like our podcast, you'll love our forums. Make sure you visit them. You can send your email feedback to geeknights@gmail.com. And if you want, you can leave us a voicemail at 206-333-1537.
Geeknights airs every weeknight, Monday through Thursday.
Geeknights is recorded with absolutely no studio and no audience. But unlike those other talk shows, it's actually recorded at night.